Hello, friends. Welcome to my daily diary. I'm going to talk to you today about what I did from the 10th of March through the 14th of March of 2023. These were 5 days of travel, and actually they were two trips that replaced what were supposed to be two other trips. On the morning of the 10th, after some early desk work here and organizing of things for the day, I got picked up for the airport to go to Orlando Airport to fly to New York. So I had the weekend visiting with my mom up there in New York. I was supposed to speak at a conference, pro-life conference in Ohio, but some family commitments instead took precedence, and so Janet spoke for me there in Ohio, and I went up to New York. So going there, of course, as I always do, in the car, at the terminal, at the gate, on the plane, I did work on my computer and my emails, covering things like updates in regard to the pro-life bill that we're pushing for in the House on no taxpayer funding for abortion, approval of appeal letters going out from Priests for Life, planning for tapings and for the deployment of previous tapings, preparation for upcoming travels. Some work on our election website, prolifevote.com, preparing some reading for our pastoral team to do, working on a joint article with Alveda King, preparation for the National Right to Life Convention, which I will be attending in June. Some response to Abortion Providers Appreciation Day, which is every year on March 10th, a ghoulish kind of observance held by the other side. Some communication with some of the people who were involved in the founding of Priests for Life, and preparing some articles about that, and responding to an invitation for a worldwide prayer event that I've been invited to help lead. Some of those were some of the computer things I was doing. Arrived home, visited with my mom a little bit, went shopping to pick up some things for the house, met one of our supporters there while shopping. She may be watching this, in fact, and she paid for the groceries. So thank you very much for your kindness, all that kind of support we see across the country for me and for our work. Let's see, I had to get on the phone with our vice chairman and our fundraising team because we're planning a whole new round of prospecting, which is very exciting. That's where you mail to people that are not on the list and invite them to get to know and support the ministry better. So we had a good planning call for that. And then I was the rest of the evening at home with my mom and visiting and helping out there at the house. Saturday, March 11th, there at home, again, visiting with my mom and helping out in the house, and then also had to intersect with some work on my emails, including the preparation of a fax to go out to all the Catholic parishes, reviewing some work that some of my research team did on an article regarding what obedience means within the church, because there are a lot of misconceptions that basically equate it to slavery, and that's not what it's meant to be. Reaction to Jane Fonda's ridiculous comment on The View about murder as a solution to fighting back against pro-life progress. Goes to show who those people are. Prospecting piece, working on that. As I mentioned already, our prospecting effort, working on the text, approving it, planning for upcoming trips, planning revisions for our liturgical resources online, and also doing some work for the article that I've been invited to submit to a special book that's going to be honoring 50 pro-life leaders who helped Roe v. Wade come to an end, and I'm happy to be one of those 50 featured in that book. What I also had to work on were some documents with frequently asked questions that we received from you in correspondence, and preparing those for broadcasting that's going to be coming up, where I'll answer some of those questions on the broadcasts. And then, that was the bulk of the work, besides visiting there at home. And then we went for an early birthday dinner, my brother and I, with my mom. She's going to be having her birthday March 19th, and we had an early birthday celebration. And then Sunday, March 12th, started off going to Mass early there in my home parish, and work on the computer on things like upcoming trip plans. We're talking with our studio team about new methods for broadcasting and improving our broadcasts, intersecting with pro-life leaders about battles for the Wisconsin Supreme Court. We have to make sure it doesn't make a left turn. And again, more work on the prospecting piece that's going to be mailed out. Visited there with my mom, and my brother came over. I reviewed some footage from some anniversary parties that we had in the past in order to get some quotes from some leaders, and worked more on that prospecting piece that I was talking about. So that was, and then later on in the afternoon, made a short video with my mom that I posted on our social media, and I know that many of you saw that. Monday morning, the 13th of March, now I was supposed to be at the National Catholic Prayer Breakfast Monday and Tuesday, but instead I had to fly out to Denton, Texas, where we had the funeral of our friend and colleague, Mark Crutcher, who passed away unexpectedly. So that trip replaced the previously planned trip. I hope folks enjoyed the Catholic Prayer Breakfast. But I was out with pro-life leaders in Texas. So I left the house at 5:15 a.m., went to LaGuardia Airport. Working on my computer on the plane, I did things like connecting leaders with one another who needed contact information, updates to the web page, preparations for upcoming trips, what we call a zip radius email. This is where our email team sends out a notice to those who are within a certain zip code range of where one of our Priests for Life speakers is going to speak, and we invite people to come to the event. So I approved some wording for some of those upcoming emails, and also made sure I was ordering the newest book by President Trump, which is going to come out next month. I put in my pre-order. It's called Letters to Trump. And let's see, I arrived in Dallas, met up with Mark, who is one of our key administrative team members. And we made our way to Denton. We got a rental car. And on the way there, I had to have a phone conversation with our vice chairman, together with our social media director, about keeping up on some news items in social media, and then also with our communications director about our process for press releases and keeping up on breaking news. We reviewed all that, had phone calls also with our executive director, executive manager, and of course conversations with Mark as we got to Denton, checked into the hotel, and then headed over to the wake service for Mark Crutcher. Now there, we met with a lot of our pro-life colleagues from across the country and throughout Texas, and we gathered there for a 2-hour wake service, visiting with everyone and praying and reminiscing about the great memories of our times with Mark at Life Dynamics. And then, after that, Mark and I had a private dinner with Troy Newman, head of Operation Rescue, and we talked about our work together and strategies moving forward. And finally, Tuesday, the 14th of March, was the funeral for Mark Crutcher. I got up early. I had to do some emails in regard to our technology department, asking them about some projects and also dates for our pastoral team meetings, and also did an article for the Epic Times and sent that opinion piece over to them. This was all at my desk in the morning before going to the funeral. Got there about 9 o'clock. The service was at 10 o'clock. Got together with the pastors. And there were some friends and colleagues in pro-life leadership, Pastor Johnny Hunter, Pastor Stephen Broden, and Pastor Kennard Childress. The three of them and I officiated at the funeral service, which took place in the funeral parlor. It was an interdenominational service. So each of the four of us, together with Troy Newman, together with some other friends and colleagues of Mark, spoke during the service, spoke on the scriptures, spoke on our memories about the lessons that Mark's life and work leave to us and to the whole pro-life movement. So it was a 2-hour service from 10 to noon. And then at noon, we headed over to a restaurant, and again, about 30 friends, pro-life colleagues, leaders, and I had lunch together, again, having a lot of conversations about pro-life strategy moving forward and building on Mark's work. Then Mark from our team and I got in the car and headed back to the airport, and had a lot of meetings both in the car. At the airport, we connected by phone with some of our team and our staff and our executive director, and on the plane and on the ride back to my office after we landed in Orlando, all during that time, just going from one topic to another of work that we are in the midst of doing. It was not a leisurely ride back home. It was a working flight and ride in the car. That's our style, and it was very fruitful, and now I'm back. And that was the activity that I engaged in from the 10th through the 14th of March of 2023. Thanks for keeping up on these updates. God bless.